California homeowners, was your home or property damaged by wildfires? Even if you have already filed an insurance claim and received a check, you may still be owed more compensation. Don't risk leaving money on the table. Call Galindo Law now for a free claim review. We'll tell you if your insurance company may still owe you compensation. Call 1-800-251-1533 or visit galindolaw.com.
It's episode 266 of Vegas Revealed. Details about the Wizard of Oz coming to Sphere.
This is a good one. How the AI technology was created specifically for this project and the challenges in adapting the 1939 film to the Sphere's massive screen.
Hear from some of the team working on this groundbreaking production. We got invited to something and got insider info we're excited to share.
Plus, check out a new patio bar and restaurant over at M Resort. We need to spread the word on this.
We do. It was so good. And the Immersive Van Gogh exhibit gets a newer version where you can see it.
All of this and more coming up right now on Vegas Revealed.
Vegas Revealed, presented by Galindo Law, starts now.
Welcome to Vegas Revealed. I'm Dana Roselli along with Sean McAllister, and we are really excited to dive in and tell you all about the Wizard of Oz coming to Sphere in August. But we did want to start with our heartfelt condolences. We found out this morning that we're recording that Elaine Wynn passed away, and both of us, Sean, were shocked.
Yeah, I mean, it was less than a year ago that we saw her over at the big ceremony when the Mirage was closing and changing hands to become the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. And Mrs. Wynn got up and spoke because she and her husband they kind of created that resort as a team. She had so much to do, not only with the Mirage, but the Bellagio and, of course, Wynn Resorts as well. Just such a visionary and an incredible businesswoman, but also a philanthropist.
Right. Yeah. And, Elaine Wynn was married to Steve Wynn, actually twice.
Right.
And, she was telling stories at the Mirage closing about when they opened it and how the idea came about and, talked about where they had started and was telling stories of how Steve had the crazy idea, or somebody had the crazy idea of wanting dolphins in the back.
Yeah, well, I think that they started I think maybe the dolphin idea was, the original idea was to have them in their backyard.
Yes.
And she was like, no, right. Put them at the Mirage.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and in that clip that we posted on social media too, she was talking about how, when people came up to see the Mirage, they were like gasping, like this. They started clapping when they walked into the atrium, and they've had so many iconic moments through the years. I feel like they really shaped Vegas into a unique place, and also a luxury town, and they made their mark in so many ways. And I'm talking about Steve Wynn and Elaine Wynn. Elaine just passed away. She was 82 years old on April 15th. And yeah, like Sean said, we didn't see her not too long ago. We saw her, I should say. She looked fabulous. We don't, at the time of this recording, have a cause of death yet. We do know in some way or fashion it had to be sudden.
Yeah. There was a brief illness is what's being reported right now. But and in addition, like I said, to everything that she did business-wise, Elaine Wynn also was a huge donor to education and the arts, and really has done so much for the Las Vegas community for decades now.
Yeah. And I love that the Wynn put out a statement this morning with condolences. It's a big loss for Las Vegas because she was still making appearances and running around. Like I said, we just saw her at the Mirage, and she talked for a long time and told so many stories, and her stories and her work currently that she was doing, really helps Las Vegas. So she for sure will be missed. An iconic woman, a classy lady, and sad to hear about the news. We'll keep you posted if we hear anything more, if there's any type of celebration of life, memorial that the public will be invited to. We'll let you know.
Yeah, and certainly her work is going to live on through the Elaine Wynn Foundation as well.
Well, this weekend, we had mentioned last week we had a job with the Olympia companies. We do it every year with the charitable foundation. They have the Governor's Black Tie Weekend. It was a success again. They raised so much money, over $1 million for 8 charities locally, but always a fun time. And we ran into a lot of people. Darius Rucker was performing at the Governor's Bash. I had never seen him perform live. I thought he was great.
Oh, he was terrific. And the crowd was so into it. And he'll be back in Las Vegas this fall.
Yeah, September, I think he's at the Palm. So if you want to see him live, I really enjoyed it. I mean, we were busy, working and videoing and stuff like that, but that was great. We also ran into Mark Bedane again, the new A's president. And it was great to see him because we had recently seen him, 2 weeks before at the Nevada Ballet Gala.
Yeah, right.
So I love seeing that Mark is, out at all these charitable events and out there, he never went away. He said he always lived here when he left the Raiders. He was the president of the Raiders. But nice to see him out and about again, representing, the A's because he's the new president, and it's a Major League Baseball team that's coming to Las Vegas eventually.
Yeah, and this was the 25th anniversary of the Governor's Black Tie event, where, like you said, they've raised $30 million over the past 25 years. But it really was. It was a great 4-day event, a golf tournament, concerts, a luncheon, black tie dinner, fireworks, the whole nine.
The whole nine. The governor was there. The first lady of Nevada was there. I really do like Donna Lombardo. We always have great conversations with her. She's nice woman.
So nice, yes.
Yes, and she's always at the ladies' lunch. So a good time had by all and lots of money raised. But we also ran into, side note, I think this is why I even thought about to talk to a lot of listeners and viewers out there on the golf course and at these events. And we just want to say thanks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Sometimes you don't do the show and you don't know who listens or her, but like people are coming up like, hey, love the show. And I'm like, do you watch or listen? And a lot of people said they DVR it. The television show.
Yeah, the TV show, which is great.
Yeah.
And if you don't live in Las Vegas, a reminder, you can always watch our most recent shows, actually all of our shows, by going to the Vegas Revealed YouTube channel. They're all loaded up there.
Mm-hmm. So great place. And if you do live here, the DVR, like somebody said to me, like, do people DVR things? I'm like, yes. We ran into a lot of people that actually DVR it.
Well, and we tell people to DVR it during the show.
Right, because the time fluctuates a little bit. We're a lot of times around sports programming and stuff like that. So mostly we're like 7:30 on Sundays, but sometimes it's 4:30 or sometimes it's on a Saturday or, sometimes 9:30 p.m. So anyway, set the DVR. It will always be there. Or if you have YouTube TV like I do, it just goes right into the menu. I love it.
If you do watch and listen, and if we're ever out and about, come over and say hi, because we love to meet you in person when we're able to.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, we got a deep dive into this event we went to. Yes. It was the Google Cloud Next conference, their kickoff. Folks over at MSG, Madison Square Garden, that run the Sphere, said, hey, you want to go to this event? They're going to do a little press thing and show some clips of The Wizard of Oz. And we were like, yes, because we've had so many people tell us they are looking forward to this.
Oh, I mean, the second that it was announced, it was just with a picture, and that it went wild on social media. But we were like, okay, so Sphere is having this event, but what role does Google play in this Wizard of Oz movie? Well, the CEO of Google was there to tell us Google has developed these huge AI systems, and that's why Google, Sphere, and Warner Brothers have all teamed up to create this version of The Wizard of Oz that's going to blow your mind.
So we didn't know when we walked in what we were going to see, what we were going to learn. And here's how it went down. They showed us certain clips of the movie. They had different speakers from all sides explaining how they've been working on this since 2023 to put this together. How, James Dolan spoke, the CEO of the Sphere, and said, we had to find the right partner to make this work. And we had a list of I think he said 6, he narrowed it down to 4. And then, Google was it. And then we got to see the process of what they've been doing and how they do it. And everyone spoke. It was just so mind blowing. And we got to see 3 big moments of The Wizard of Oz. They're not done with it yet. They've said they're
still
got
in the editing process. Yeah.
They've got a lot of work to do. It comes out August 28th, and they said they're going to hit that. But that's what went on. So we got to see hear explanations, see clips, and it moved along with almost like we watched this kind of documentary-ish type film.
Right.
In the Sphere.
So just to give you an idea of what we're talking about here, the original 1939 Wizard of Oz was, in 4:3 aspect ratio. You were basically watching a square. Well, if you blow that up and show it inside of Sphere, which is like 280-degree screen, and it's wild. And the resolution 16K, like it just wouldn't look good if you were just showing the original movie.
Right.
So they ran The Wizard of Oz through multiple AI and also some current computer generated graphic kind of technology. But they had to create the world beyond the frame that we have seen for the past however many decades.
Right.
And
that was cool.
It was just wild. And they had to build the AI computers and models specifically for this project. So you can only imagine the undertaking.
Well, and that was the thing. I never thought of that if you show it in the Sphere, the film is only stretched out so far. So they were talking about, so they're basically using the AI to kind of reimagine what would be happening outside of the frame of the movie. But they also stressed that they want to keep true to the film. They're not going to do anything weird or crazy that they think, wouldn't actually be happening. And they're using some type of, AI and intelligence to and a brain almost to say what would be happening if Dorothy walks in with the Scarecrow and then the Scarecrow walks out of frame. What would the Scarecrow be doing off to the right at that moment? Because in the Sphere, we're still seeing that far.
Right.
So anyway,
we're seeing a world that stretches beyond what has been known on screen before. And so they did. There were actual producers who had gone through the original scripts of The Wizard of Oz, read the director's notes, really wanted to make sure that it was an authentic representation of what was originally intended for the film. And now, of course, we have technology to do things that were not possible in 1939. So producers sat with the technology people who were telling the AI computers what to do and making this wild stuff happen. Now, we have a couple interviews that you're going to hear in just a minute that explain more about this whole process. But it really is, it's astounding what they've done.
Well, the clips that they showed us, everyone was kind of like oohing and eyeing. Like you could tell, like
there was applause.
Yeah, it was amazing. We got to see, when Dorothy sings Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and it was incredible to see that in black and white and the screen expanded and see her so clearly. That was so cool. We got to see a scene with the Wicked Witch. That was neat. Because the Wicked Witch was right up there.
Man, and she is green.
Yeah, she is very green. We got to see them walking into frame, heading up to Emerald City and to see the wizard.
To see the wizard, yeah.
We got to see the wizard for a brief moment.
But here's the wild thing. Both in the witch's castle and going to see the wizard, you look up and you see the ceiling of the room.
Right.
Like it feels like you are right there walking the yellow brick road right alongside the characters.
Mm-hmm. So we posted this on our TikTok, and the fighting back and forth about AI is still going to this day. It's been a week. And I thought that was interesting because I never really thought of it. I thought, wow, what an amazing creative way to bring this film to life. And yeah, I think we all worry AI is going to take over the world and people aren't going to have jobs and stuff like that. We need to be caught if it's used for certain things. For this, though, it only makes sense if we have this technology. How do we bring an existing film? How do we keep it the same, but allow it to be shown in the Sphere, or make it, formatted to even be an experience inside the Sphere? AI. We have it, right?
Well, Judy and the Munchkins aren't coming back to reshoot scenes.
No. And that's what people are saying in the TikTok. Like, that's not happening. So what else? And then, well, they should have used actors. And I'm like, well, then you're not really, then the wizard doesn't look like the wizard. And so, like, it's very interesting. So in one of the interviews with Ben Grossman, the co-founder and CEO of Magnopus, you'll find it very interesting. I think the way he lays it out explains, when you think about how this film was shot before, how this had to happen. And this is one way that it needed to be done.
And this conversation you're about to hear happened immediately after we saw these first images of the Wizard of Oz. We were the only really podcast or video outlet there.
Yeah, it was all print or, people asking questions, but not, we had the microphone and we videoed it for our television show, and we're able to use some of the audio too. It was kind of a panel. So I was trying to get the mic as close as I could to hear some of the answers, but I think it'll play out just fine in audio. But yeah, I mean, in many ways, this is a little bit of a Vegas Revealed exclusive. So thanks to the folks over at Sphere for inviting us.
So who you are going to be hearing from, Ben Grossman, who is the co-founder and CEO of Magnopus, like Dana mentioned. But first, you'll hear from Jennifer Kestner, who is president and chief operating officer at Sphere.
I know you still have a lot to do, but is there a scene of the movie that you are just like, or maybe my mind is blown, or you got the chills, or I can't believe we nailed this, that's going to blow people away? Because we're going to have a lot of people watching that are hyped about to come see the film.
I would say personally, the forest for me. You feel as though you are literally with Dorothy, with Toto. There's monkeys, and you look up and it's cavernous. I don't know how else to explain it except it's cavernous.
You have to remember that the original movie was all shot inside buildings. So when you watch the original movie, it's all shot in sound stages in Culver City. And so anytime there was a far distant hillside, it was a painting. And anytime you saw a big wide vista, it was a painting on glass that was photographed through in a small stage. So nothing was ever shot outside in The Wizard of Oz, the movie. So forests, those were all trees brought indoors, planted, and the camera kept moving past the same trees over and over and over. So the whole movie was basically just made in a room the size of a basketball court, but a bunch of adjacent rooms that they could move between. The tricky part about what we're doing with this is we're saying, take all this material and now extend it logically into a wider field of view so you can see up above you and behind you. So any scene in the movie that you've ever seen where you think, oh, I saw a little glimpse of something really cool over there. Well, now our goal is for you to feel like you're actually there, not looking at it through a screen at all. Because when you sit inside the sphere, you feel like you're going someplace. So the idea was for us to remove, in a sense, the camera of the original movie and put the audience back on the set, except the set to become real. So anything that felt like it was painted, it becomes real by nature of experiencing it firsthand. So I could just put it back to you. What's your favorite part of The Wizard of Oz, and where would you want to see? You saw a glimpse of the wizard. That's pretty intense.
I mean, I know the tornado scene was always, creep me out when I was younger. And I think about seeing it in here and like how it's going to be pretty incredible.
That's why it's experiential, right?
Yeah.
So from when you're sitting there, everything is in view as you look around as though you're actually there.
The tornado is going to be super intense.
Yeah, it is.
I'm excited for the tornado.
And flying monkeys are also another popular.
Or unpopular if you're a child.
Yeah, exactly. We are definitely going to have some new generations of nightmares.
So you can tell some of those scenes, the way they're describing it, even looking at Jennifer's face, you can tell she's blown away.
Oh, without a doubt. And also something we could tell is that they are coming up with something really wild for the tornado scene.
Yes. Well, and we just heard him say there's going to be a lot of new nightmares.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that was because I even told you that movie used to creep me out. It creeps a lot of people out, but not everyone. Some people are like, what do you mean? I love it. And it has that effect on you, but it's not like it creeps you out like you don't want to watch it kind of way. It's just, it brings this whole alternate world. And when you're a kid, I don't know, you're fascinated by it.
Well, and I think we haven't mentioned yet that during the movie, there are going to be effects and 4D things happening. So when we were there, we felt the breeze. There was a breeze happening. There's different scents that happen inside of Sphere. Your seat rumbles with the bass of, when the fire goes off, when they go in to see the wizard. And I mean, it is just, I can't wait. I am so excited for it.
I mean, everyone's asking, when are tickets on sale? How much are tickets? And we don't know yet. Tickets are not on sale at the time of recording today. So we will wait and see. Again, they said end of August, it will be done. Fingers crossed. They said we shouldn't even be here. We should be working. They kept saying that, over and over. But it's pretty cool what they're doing, and we look forward to it. That's for sure. It's something different. And there's people commenting on the TikTok, well, it didn't need to be done and this and that. It's like, you know what? Then don't go. Because plenty of other people, that's going to sell out, I think, every single screening, without a doubt.
Well,
I think
just the technological advancement that it's taken to pull this project together, and they're still pulling it together and coming up with new things to finish the film. Yeah. So I think that it is just going to be spectacular. It's not going to be the same experience of watching the original film. It'll be, and you have to think of it that way, like two totally different experiences.
Right. But they are staying true. They're keeping the film. Like, people are like, or is this like an adaptation? Well,
no,
that's the film, but enhanced and brought to life. Right. Yes. More of it. That's a good way to put it.
If your insured Texas home was damaged by hail or hurricane in the past 2 years, listen closely. You could still be owed more compensation for home repairs, even if you have received an insurance check. Galindo Law is here to help you with a free claim review. Let us review your case and help you get the financial compensation you may deserve. Call 1-800-251-1533 or visit galindolaw.com.
Hey, speaking of television, film, all that good stuff, if you love Hacks, we do. It's a great show on Max. And, it started off in season 1 in Las Vegas. Most of the show has taken place in Las Vegas. They've been traveling around. Now they're in Los Angeles this season, but they are coming back to Vegas. And I know they did a lot of filming at the Fontainebleau. That episode drops tonight because, if you're listening to the podcast on April 17th, which is the day that we post them on a Thursday, that show debuts tonight. And then obviously it sits on there on Max, but I'm excited to see what they do.
I know. And Hacks, Lunel, the comedian down at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, of course, she's all over the place too. But she's had a recurring role and she's back this season. We talked to her about that and she just loves it and loves the success of the show. So we're glad that Hacks is back in Vegas.
Emmy award-winning show. It just keeps winning so many awards. And what a cast. The writing is great. So according to the Fontainebleau, we're going to see, scenes throughout the resort, including the casino floor, Oasis pool, Blue Bar, Live Las Vegas, and many more. So it should be good.
All right.
I'm excited for that.
And Hacks, of course, streams on Max.
Yeah, you can watch it there. And if you haven't, sometimes I'll say to people, like, you haven't watched Hacks? Like, what are you, crazy? And I get it. The first season, I stopped halfway because I was like, all right, it was getting a little, and everyone's like, no. And I kept going, and it's such a good show, and you have to.
Well, and especially if you're a Las Vegas lover. Like if you like Las Vegas, just stay with it because there are so many, like when Carrot Top makes an appearance.
Right.
Like there's so many like funny Vegas moments throughout the episode. So I think that if for no other reason, watch it for the Vegas stuff.
Right. Well, and Deborah Vance is a relatable character on that show when it comes to Vegas.
She is.
Longtime headliner that now has to a little bit either go with the times, reinvent herself, or not. Stay true to what she believes in. So, and then how that will go in her journey. It's great. I love it so much. Before we head to tips, want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Galindo Law. Don't risk losing money that you may be owed. You can contact Galindo Law for a free claim review to see if you may be owed more compensation. And we're talking about in the California wildfires, if you were involved in that, if you live in Texas and you have a home that was damaged by hail or a hurricane. all those sorts of things. Give them a call, 1-800-251-1533, or you can go to galindolaw.com.
All right, let's get to our tips. All right, up first this week, the Immersive Van Gogh. This is an exhibit over at the Lighthouse Art Space inside Crystal's Shops over there on the Las Vegas Strip. This is one of those experiences where you go inside and the projections are all over the wall and the paintings of Van Gogh come to life all around you.
Yeah, I remember shooting this, and when they announced they were opening, and I didn't realize it's actually been a while. I remember we had masks on back then.
We did.
Right?
Yeah.
When we went over and did that interview. So yeah, it's been around a long time. People love it. So that's why they're doing this new edition, giving us something new. It's called The New Immersive Van Gogh, The Next Chapter. It opened April 7th, so it's good to go. It's located over there on level 3, right at the Shops at Crystals, like Sean said. And you can go to vangovegas.com for more information. But yeah, like Sean also said, the digital projections on the wall, you're going to see over 300 of Van Gogh's masterpieces, and it's all set to this captivating soundtrack. I remember when we went, people were sitting on the ground and just relaxing and taking it in, or, you know, standing there and walking around and taking some pictures of themselves with the paintings behind them.
Yeah, and especially with the summer months coming, you might be looking for a little bit of a break from the Las Vegas heat, and this is one of those options that's really enjoyable. So again, it is the new Immersive Van Gogh, The Next Chapter, over there at the Crystals Shops.
All right. Hey, you and I went to the M recently because we had a break during a project that we were shooting down in Southern Highlands. And we said, where can we get something quick to eat or whatever? So we said, hey, what about the Patio at M? We talked about this. It is a new restaurant and bar open right next to the pool area. I believe it's just open in the evening. Don't quote me on that, but I remember last time we did it, I believe it's more of a midday to evening type thing. But anyway, we walked in there and absolutely loved it. I mean, on a Friday night.
First of all, the pool at the M is just so pretty anyway. Just looking out over that pool deck at night with the lights on. But the patio area has its own, tables and bar and lights,
colored lights.
Up.
The colored lights. I love the colored lights.
TVs out there. So if there's a game on, especially now with the Golden Knights heading into the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I mean,
again,
here's the deal, you guys. We were like one of like 4 people in there, and we thought, okay, not enough people know about this. It needs to be busier. So we figured we would spread the word. And we were talking to the bartender, and he said, yeah, we're still new. And I'm like, what? And it was a beautiful night. Why isn't everyone sitting on this patio?
Exactly. And it was so relaxing, so nice. With a breeze coming through there.
Yeah.
We were talking about, we were like, you know what? We need to let people know about this place because it's great.
It really is great. So I'm excited that it's open and it's good to go. We wanted to let you know about it. We're definitely going to go back there. Actually, we should have gone. That's what we should have done for your birthday. Today's Sean's birthday, by the way, when this drops, April 17th. It's not really because it's Monday, but this podcast posts on April 17th.
It's
so it's
birthday week.
So it's like it's your birthday.
Yeah.
But anyway, that would be a good spot for a celebration with friends. Very casual, but a little elevated.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is.
Yeah. Right now, in the scenery with the pool there. So loved it. Okay. M Resort, though, while we were also there, we noticed, you know what? They get a lot of good acts over there to perform poolside. So we thought we would mention that as a tip as well. The wall, and this is more for our generation.
I mean, I like all of these
Right.
all of these acts that you're about to reveal.
Acts,
yeah.
Solos. Yeah. Train is coming May 3rd. Okay. Always good. Great live. The Wallflowers coming August 29th. That's going to be great. And then Ludacris, June 7th.
Luda.
And we saw him at F1 perform right outside the Sphere. He was great. Now you can go over and see him poolside at the M.
Those are some great acts. Now, if you don't know where the M is, it is way south on Las Vegas Boulevard. So if you drive south on the Strip and just keep going and going and going
for a
long time, you'll see it on the left.
Well, yeah, and it's near Southern Highlands. It's also right off the highway. So if you take the 15 south, you literally get off, turn left.
Or if you're coming in from Southern California, it's like the first casino you see driving into town.
Right. The mresort.com. Hey, by the way, correction, the wallflowers, I don't know if I said they were poolside. They're actually at the M Pavilion Friday, August 29th.
Okay.
I think Train and Ludacris are doing the poolside. So there you have it. But yeah, I mean, what a great spot.
It is. Love it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I think that was a lot. We're still, our mind is blown by the Wizard of Oz clips we saw. So we really wanted to deep dive into that today. And we hope that we answered some questions. I know it's difficult for us to explain. We aren't techies.
So here's the thing. We have a link down in our show notes where you can text us any questions. So if you're listening to that conversation and you're like, but wait, I want to know more about that, or I need something. Can you clarify that? Let us know, and we'll look at all those responses, and we'll have that for you next episode.
Definitely. All right, we're off to see the wizard. Bye.
My name is George Meyer, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of a new app called VegasNearMe. I started this project because I was frustrated after missing a Journey concert. Over 1,000 shows and events are in the app. In fact, the app now offers the best prices on shows and events in the city. The app now also includes amazing coupons and deals, including $99 bottle service. Download the free VegasNearMe app today.